got director Travis Bible here. We can get producers Eric Gibson, Nicholas to come down, as well as our leads, Spencer, Cam, Taneisha, where are you? Okay. And then I'd like to introduce our moderator, the very talented Chris O'Shea.
Yes, that's him.
Very British as well.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate enough to work with him before.
And unrelated, but if you're bored during this, like a great way to use your time is there's that QR code and just, give it a IMDb rating. Very convenient. You don't want to waste your time outside of this, so it's right there.
We've actually barred the doors. So
yeah, so
might as well take advantage of that.
Yeah, Chris, how would you like to introduce yourself?
That's it. My name's Chris. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
Guys, congratulations on a fabulous movie and a wonderfully executed concept. Guys, Chad gets the axe. Trav, I enjoyed that an awful lot.
Should we sit or we do the cheers for show? Or
Let's sit. Let's sit.
Very much a personal decision.
No.
Oh, wait, where is?
She might have stepped out. Maybe she wants to avoid the
She's
screen.
coming right back.
She's talking to her agent about doing a Q&A this far after shooting.
Okay, yeah.
So, mate, first things first, where did this idea come from? What's your inspiration for this?
Well, we originally shot a short film that was kind of inspired by a certain YouTuber who thought it would be a good idea to film a dead body. We shot that with Spencer, actually, and we did like a nice little 10-minute short, and did well. And then we were just trying to figure out like how can we do like a feature version of this. And actually, the first thing I thought to crack, and I pitched to Kimberton, he's like, sure, is we're like, what if we did like an interactive version? Because do you remember like Black Mirror Bandersnatch thing? That had just come out, and so we wrote a whole thing where it's like you are the comments, you're deciding what's going on, and everyone had a live stream, all four of the influencers. You could switch back and forth, and we pitched it around to studios. And like, that sounds awesome. We'd love to watch it, but we don't do interactive content. And so Kimberton and I kind of went back to the drawing board and were like, how can we make something that feels kind of like you're controlling it? There she is.
Just had to make an entrance.
And so we just pretty much wanted to do like, how do you do Blair Witch in 2022? And it seemed like that would be influencers, and that's
Like
kind of the direction we went.
Very much so. Yeah. And you've done. I've never seen a sort of concept done like that. Is it based on anything? Had you seen anyone do anything like that before?
There's like I don't think we've seen any. What's interesting is we shot the short and we're like, this is cool, no one's done this, and then in between the short and the feature there's been some very great films like Deadstream and some others that have come out.
Who hasn't seen that?
They're all very, very similar. But yeah, before there was some inspiration. There was one called Grave Encounters, where it's like this dude hosting a reality show at like an insane asylum and gets locked in. But I think the use of comments is kind of new, and what I wanted to do different in my movie is you can read them all. Like most of them are kind of used like as a flourish, but this we kept them on a slow enough speed that if you want to go through and just read all the comments the whole time, you can.
There's so many little Easter eggs in that movie. There's so many little things. And was it something that you worked out in advance? That all those things, all the comments tied up with the little moments, all the little things you could find. Was that something that you decided, or was that some happy accident in places?
It was kind of both. We did get to do the dry run with the short and kind of figure out how it was going to work, but there's just so many to write, and I think Kimberton, we wrote like 20 pages before we even started.
Yeah, that was actually very challenging. I thought the comments and username, I was like, that's pretty mindless. Like, I could crush that because that's my speed. I was like, I don't have to do anything. But after a while, you start to, you got to come up with usernames. I accidentally used like my email password as like a and then like my friends' names. Like, what am I? Like they came to, they're like, why are you using my name? Like my social security number is probably on there somewhere. So yeah, I mean it's difficult, but you kind of space them out, and then you got to have them kind of make sense and stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And another scene-stealing performance from Kimberton Hargrove pops up in every single of Travis's movies. Wonderful performance, mate. Loved it.
Thank you. I'm method.
Which does bring us neatly onto the cast. Obviously, when you do a movie in that way, you're leaning quite heavily on your cast because it's basically a series of monologues. So how did you find you guys? How did you guys get involved?
So we started with the short, and what's funny is we had a lot of people read who were kind of just straight Jake Paul, Logan Paul type people, and they weren't quite getting it. And then my friend Danny, who's actually here, had casted Spencer in a series where he wasn't douchey at all. And I actually did not believe him. Like, this guy's not like a douchebag influencer. And Danny's like, no, trust me, you can do it. And,
This guy sucks.
We totally, I think I asked you to do one more read. I'm like, just make it extra douchey. And I think you went out by a pool and shot something. And I'm like, this is great. And so we shot it with him. And I'm like, okay, so we have a good, chat for the feature. And then to fill the rest, we had a lot of people reading. I was initially actually having trouble finding like a good Jennifer, and then Spencer actually.
Yeah, I am. My girlfriend and I actually worked with Taneisha on a USC film years ago, and Travis had written such a great character, and I immediately thought of her. And it was like we worked together one night, like 12 hours straight.
From 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
In an Airbnb.
What the absolute fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Right
Not
now.
that. Yeah, it was. This is worth it, or that was worth it for
Absolutely.
this. At the time, it didn't feel worth it.
But Angie's amazing.
And Angie's
There
amazing.
she is
She's
over
here.
there. Because of her, I'm here.
Yeah.
And
well, because of you, you're here. But it's
Sure,
she who
honey.
helped.
You kill me in that short, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you did,
I
because now
know.
we're here.
What they also had to do that we didn't really think about beforehand is they have to basically be camera operators.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which I didn't really think about almost until like days before shoot. I'm
Yeah, you
they
didn't think
have
about
to
that,
do
did you?
Thank you so much.
No, I didn't. I was busy just writing dumb comments. But yeah, so they had to, have long monologues, but also be.
Had to get the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so how does that work? Obviously, usually when you do your movies, you're quite meticulous about setting up a shot. So that sort of organised chaos. How do you plan that out? How do you get them to do that? Like what?
Well, I mean, what's funny about the short is I had Spencer shoot the entire movie during a rehearsal and then cut it together, and then I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do with that. But yeah, you're just gonna have to have faith. Like, they're all really good at it, and I mean, I knew Spencer was from the short, but like, Taneisha, Michael, Cam, when they had their spots, like, I think just really naturally did a good job kind of doing it. And then what you have to do, the annoying thing is it's long takes, right? Because you want it to seem one seamless live stream. So it's like Spencer or Taneisha will like completely nail a take, and I'll be like, that was great, the acting was awesome, but could you pan a little faster left this way, and flip
We
here.
want a tree in the background so we know you're outside.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Do it
Great.
again.
That was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
12 minutes. Yeah. No, I mean, and it's funny because when we've had other showings, that's a question that comes up a lot, is what's the challenge of holding the phone and acting and getting in the angle and stuff. And I think weirdly, because I don't know if it's an age demographic thing, we're kind of used to, in this day and age, recording ourselves, and particularly, with self-tape and stuff, it's a little bit more intuitive than I'd like to admit. The problem really came from our great DP, Rob Senska, who was just so heartbroken at every shot, because we would these messy, like sloppy, all over the place things, and he's like, it'd be really cool if we could get like a blue light or something in the background, and Travis is like, no, dark, see nothing. He's like, great.
And I had it easy because I only held the camera probably a couple times, so I just really relied on them just doing their thing.
It's great editing too. It's really
Yes.
pretty cool.
That's actually a really good Rob Senska.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, what was can you share something that you really enjoyed, like the locations or any story from filming it that you really enjoyed? Anything that comes to mind? Do you have perhaps a channel to push or anything like that? A hashtag you want us to go to?
I mean, there is the hashtag Check It's the X Instagram page where we're going to be posting, I think, a little bit more BTS.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, the location itself, the murder cabin, Devil's Manor, was so scary already. It was like, we shoot, I mean, obviously entirely in there, and it is like a big windy maze of doors, and it was so awesome to see it. And and Reese Rourke, who is our art guy, who's incredible, just like turning around and making things look terrifying and like intentional. Really did a great job of gussing it up, but there was a moment after, or while we were filming or whatever, we were getting like EPK for potential whatever, back behind the scenes stuff. And we're walking up the stairs to the attic, and I don't know if it's quite clear, but there's like a big blood smear, or like a big red smear up the stairs. And we did a little house tour where I was walking around with Reese, and I was like, tell me about this, tell me about this. We get to the big blood smear, and he's like, yeah, that was already there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
It took a long time to find that spot.
And yeah, on that, Taneisha and Cameron a little talk like how's the swamp and stuff. Talk a little about
Oh yeah,
that.
Hemi was the guy who killed me. He was like in the swamp and he pulled me. That was
Yeah.
really romantic.
It was.
I think.
It was.
Commitment to a role.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
freezing my ass the entire time. Like it looks normal and it wasn't.
I was in the water. So
Yeah.
it wasn't great. I finally told Travis, I think I'm going numb. You're like, okay, we'll wrap it up in like an hour. And I was like, no, I think I'm experiencing hypothermia.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's all good.
He's like, you don't have any lines, you don't have any lines. You don't have any lines.
Yeah. He's
We
like,
had
you
the
just
little
gotta
heat
pull.
pads like in our feet,
Yeah.
in our bums, everywhere. Just like, okay, are we ready for the
Yeah,
tank?
there's like a 2-second shot where she's like, I'm gonna put on my sweater right now, and that wasn't in the script initially. It was
No, but I
Taneisha's
was-
like, I need to put on like a damn sweater right now. This is
Where's the 2-piece? Tell the freaking
Yeah,
stop
tank
me.
Do you know that's another question I had? The script came out so naturally. How much of that was there any room for improv there? It felt like there was. You do like your
No,
improv.
he's
Trav.
very
I was-
Sorkin-esque. He was really
Yeah, no,
going at it.
I
very
was
much
gonna say that to your question earlier. That was one of the parts that I enjoyed. Is that Travis and Kimberton they were up for just you
Yeah,
let
yeah,
them
yeah.
know about stuff that Gen Z would say in the comments or something like that, or something that I would say like in a text saying "bet." I forgot what it was, but it was like
Yeah,
like okay.
that's like the first time I'd heard that word. I'm usually like, okie dokie. Like, so Travis and I actually like went on TikTok. We're like, we gotta follow young people. And I'm like, this is weird. I think.
What I love about this movie is I think it sits in the culture so naturally, where it's not someone trying to be like or mocking. I mean, there is mocking of like influencer culture and stuff, but it sounds natural. It's not like low-hanging fruit kind of jokes. You believe every bit of it, and I think it's brilliant writing, truly, and brilliant editing and everything. But what's funny is, after the fact, we're trying to get social media out and promote it, and I get text from Travis, and he's like, how do you put something on your story with music? And I'm like, you wrote this piece that looks into the soul of a generation, and you don't know what the 3 dots in the top right mean.
No idea. And I'm like, oh, the Facebook. Spencer's like, no one fucking uses Facebook anymore. I'm like, well.
Yeah, we still have dial-up internet.
Oh, the delicious irony! I was hoping one of you guys might have like a channel to push, or like come and check me out at like or your Instagram.
Funny enough, I actually
Love it.
suck at social media. Like I am very bad at it, so I don't even know what they saw in me, but I love them for it.
Authenticity.
I'm on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
I'm pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd say look it up, but I got a decent enough following, so you can find it anyway. But it's just my name.
Yeah,
Stays in character. I love it. Stays in character for the interview.
But September 1st, for sure, feel free to spread the word, and if you want to do us a favor, rent it. We'll Venmo you the $5 back, but so we can get some status with this. And yeah, if you can actually rate it, that would actually really help indie film a lot. I know it's annoying, but if you could rate it on IMDb, or if there's audience Rotten Tomatoes, that would really help us. And I guess questions, or what do you got?
Yeah, guys. Anyone got any questions for the team? That'd be great.
Chad gets the axe sequel. What does that look like from the perspective of Burroughs? What would that involve?
I thought about this. It's called hashtag Night of the Living Chad, and it starts out with the ride driver out front, and it's on his dash cam, and it's played by me again. And that's not explained, but it's kind of it's a new art house kind of thing that we're gonna try.
I thought it was like the Benson brothers going to explore.
No. Hashtag Night of the Living Chad.
We'll discuss.
You can call us Professor Pat.
But no, Trav, do you have anything coming up next? Do you have any more plans for maybe a sequel or another film? Where's your head at now, creatively?
The next thing I'm working on is a proof of concept short about a demon that wipes people out of existence during a laser tag match. So that's kind of
Sticking to the Bible-esque themes then.
yeah.
Bring your kids. It's gonna be great.
Anyone else? Young man.
The Chad theme song, who made that? Is it the same one from the short? Is it the same? Yeah.
Yeah, it's from the short. Is Will here? Anyone? All right. Well, I invited the composer, but anyway, yeah, he did a great job.
He's dead to us.
Yeah, he recorded it for us back in 2018. I think Mike, you tracked him down.
Yeah.
You don't have to, yeah. It's like, yeah, I did. So anyway, yeah, and then we wanted to recycle it and use it again. So yeah, it's we were looking for kind of a. I think I kind of gave the lyrics. I'm like, better than a champ, yeah, better than a champ. You're a Chad, you're a Chad, you're a champion, and he ran with it.
Yeah, we got it on spec, and then we're like, cool, great, done.
Well, and that Tinder Feeling song too is also original to the movie, and it's
Dude, Fiverr, like people, Fiverr is amazing. Don't.
It's on Spotify, by the way.
It's on Spotify. Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the username, but was the guy that was asking for feet pics the same person throughout the whole movie?
Yes, and he's actually here. Why don't you stand up?
That was Peter Peepee, and it made my wife and I giggle, and so we just left in Peter Peepee as the feet person. Oh, and the feet thing was also something Spencer's little brother suggested. He's like, yeah, Gen Z people say show feet. I'm like, what does that mean? He had to explain it to him. I'm like, all right, I like it. I'm going
That's
with
his
it.
legacy now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about how like spooky and great the actual set was. Were there any like legitimate hijinks between you people, or like any like oh shit moments?
Some tomfoolery here and there, some hooligans. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The dead body prop was so realistic. We took a bunch of photos with it at one point, but it's one of those things where you're changing angles, you're changing locations around this massive empty house, and the body is just showing up in different like positions because someone wanted it there with them for comfort, I guess. That always scared the crap out of me.
You
Yeah.
play with it for comfort?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. A lot of the shots, I was like, please don't leave me. Like, I understand you're not in this specific shot, but like, just stay nearby. You're a physical touch person. Like, just stay here. So when I'm like, can you like not go anywhere? I'm actually, it's me. I don't like creepy shit, and it's funny because we're doing this. But another funny Reese thing, like the blood stain was there.
Yeah.
The cages in the basement where I'm chained up, they were also there before we were there. And that wasn't Reese. Wow. It was like, oh my god, this is
And
so
he's got
cool.
cages. Yeah.
Reese is phenomenal. I'm so sad that he's not here. But I was like, the basement was shot later on after we did all the upstairs shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you did a really fucking good job. And he goes, I know. But like the cages? Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, that wasn't me. Epic, dude.
We left the place in better condition than.
Yeah.
I went and met with the guy who owned it because I was looking at all these different places trying to find the right spot, and I meet him there. And the first thing he does, he's like, "I hope you don't mind," and he lifts up his shirt and he has a revolver. And he pulls it out and he goes, "If anyone's in there, I'm coming in and I'm armed." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. This will be great." Apparently they were squatters, and he's like, "I think they worship the devil." And I was like, "Well, I mean, that's actually kind of perfect."
And he became our COVID officer, which was nice of him.
That's right. I totally forgot.
Got to wear many hats in independent filmmaking. Many hats. Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, I just wondered, Travis, from making the short to the feature, was there anything that you learned that caused you to pivot in the feature, whether it be like a technical thing you decided to do differently or a creative thing you switched up after learning what you learned for short?
There was a few things. One, we realized it was funny. I hoped it was funny, but I think this was more like Mike Kimmer's not writing comments for the short, being like, I guess these are funny, then it screened and people were laughing, so it gave us a little more freedom to go comedy, like horror, full-on horror comedy for the feature. And then, yeah, just when I was shooting the short, this may be a little boring, but I was so obsessed with like, no, because if it was a live stream, it's like 2018 or 19, like you can't flip the camera around, like it has to be all one shot. So Spencer, anytime we wanted to pan to something in the short, I made him flip around so we couldn't save it with the edit. So if he was showing the body in the short, he had to actually flip it this. So basically, you had to do like a 6-minute take. So in the feature, I'm like, no one cares about that. Plus, at this point, I think you can actually flip it. So it saved us in the edit. We were able to shoot things both ways. So we shot a POV version and a face version. So it gives a little more freedom in the edit to not have to, make the actors do 10-minute takes and just do really long 5-minute takes.
Also, in the short version, it was really like, I know it was kind of important that you wanted it to feel like one live stream, so the cutting had to be really invisible and seamless, and so it all, if you watch the short, it's still available online, it looks like it's one shot, and it's really, neat. But a lot of people didn't really care. What I like about how that changes in the feature version is we're able to jump to different streamers and to go to the live page and stuff, and we're able to provide natural cuts in a way that adds so much. I mean, there's so many fun gags in this movie using the social media apps.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing, if you do your job that well, in the end, people don't notice, do they? Yeah. Yes?
Why Louisiana?
Creepiest state. 100%. As a foreigner, creepiest state in the Union. That's true.
He's been there twice. I grew up there. Kimberton's based there. They have some great tax credits. Eric, do you have it? What's your 3-sentence pitch for Louisiana? Louisiana film, go.
Well, we have great tax credits. So if you want to come make a movie and film in Shreveport, give me a call and I'll look you up.
Yeah, and everyone's nice. Like, it's much easier to shoot. We got to shoot the short. We shot it out here. It was an awesome place, but we ended up having to pay a permit. It was crazy, and the short was nothing. We didn't even have a sound person. We had Spencer and a camera and Mike and Cameron helping out, and we had to get a $3,000 permit, and we had to get all the insurance for a 4-person crew with a cell phone in a place no one was at. So it's nice. Louisiana is a little more cool, you're making a movie, what can we do to help? And so that was nice.
Okie dokie.
For the actors and actress.
Yes.
What was your favorite scene to film?
Ooh. Travis likes cutting my favorite scenes. There was one that's not in the movie, and it's fine. It's at the it would have been at the very, very beginning, where Spicy Steve, played by Michael Bonini, is trying to hype himself up for that call that he ends up doing. And instead of a bunch of text messages, I FaceTime him. And we had this big argument where you saw, because a lot of the movie, I feel like you see Chad as this sort of performer, exterior personality character. And this video call was a very real, business mogul-minded guy who was and it also, you understood more of the assholery of him, because he's really ripping off Steve. But what's great about the final edit is Travis is able to get all that information in text messages, and if you look at those texts, those frames at the beginning, everything you need is in there, and it makes the movie more rewatchable, and my ego is only just a little shattered. But outside of that, on the pier with
Absolutely.
Jen was so much fun.
Yeah.
Because that totally different energy, but.
I think you're just an asshole by itself, and then I'm just a sexy dumb girl, and then when you put us together, I think
PB&J.
Fucking magic, bro. I don't know. I was like, oh, you can really tell that there's just a lot of love, a lot of friendship, we bounce off each other so well. And I want to see more of them, and it's too bad that she fucking dies. we just had a really the whole time. I think whenever Spence and I are on the camera, I just had the most fun. I didn't really realize that I was working.
That's sweet.
I know.
For me, I'm actually the same. We both got there was one moment where me and Taneisha were in a car going over and over like those 3 lines. Yeah. I almost forgot until you said something. That was really fun because it was just like 3 takes to do in a row, and Taneisha was just in the back of the car with me, and like we're on FaceTime or something. And I'm just going through it. We get done, second version of the scene. Get done, third version of the scene, and then start back 1, 2, 3. So it just went over and over and over. So that was like really fun as an actor to like do, I guess. But like my favorite one that you guys got to see was the death one, because I don't know. I like it.
Yes, well, you guys did look like you were having an awful lot of fun.
How many shooting days did you have? And my second question is, if you have an alternative ending, what would it be?
Yeah, he has one.
question.
I'll go.
I got
How many shooting days do we have, and if there was an alternate ending, what would it be?
So for shooting days, I think we knocked it out in about 14 to 18. Like we kept it pretty short, and we were able to shoot even some of the stuff out here in Los Angeles. Like I was able to do some of the Zoom calls, get that out of the way. Obviously, the Santa Monica part. The credits were kind of a thing, and inserting other things did add some time, but I thought it was worth doing to put some faces to all these names you see, and we're like, dude, we gotta get the Benson brothers, and luckily we were able to cast 2 really talented guys to fill in for that. Woo! Well, I think yeah. So, but yeah, we were able to knock it out pretty fast. We actually, because it was phones, all the actors were so talented, and they really got it, so we're really able to blow through. We did kind of a general one light setting, with practicals, and just did long takes. And yeah, let's let Spencer can pitch his alternate ending.
Well, I was going to add on to that too, that it's when you are filming on iPhones, so much of the time of like setting up and doing the lights and getting the shot is not really. It's all taken out because we're just holding it. It has to feel natural, so we don't have to wait for setups, and that cut out a lot of time. I think we had 3 weeks set aside for filming, and we did it in like 2.5 or something. Like
That's also because of Catherine.
and it's also because we had an AD
Who was
ruled with
on
an iron
our neck
fist.
about
Yeah.
everything. Do you want to do 2 more extra scenes tonight? And I'm like, I didn't even.
No, but I mean, we got it
Run
done.
to the trailer, memorize his lines with Spencer.
I know.
What are we doing?
I know, but it came out.
No, absolutely.
But I had an idea for an alternate ending that Travis wasn't interested in, where I thought Chad getting the axe could be a double entendre, and at some point I got it away from Burroughs, and I kill him, and then I get to make the movie with The Rock and Ariana Grande. And Travis said there were some budget problems, but that was an ending.
Thematically that might not have been quite what I was trying to say with this, but yeah, I appreciated it. And he did, I don't know, he did pitch this to me, something like this on set. And it's like,
every day.
Thank you, yeah.
But I'd watch it. I do have one final question for you, Trav, and you, Kemmer. Having made the movie you've just made, is there anything about the sort of Logan Paul culture that you admire? Is there anything about those sort of people, that sort of thing that you've made a movie about that you admire?
I do.
What talent of theirs do you admire?
They know what they know how to get attention. They know they're delivering what audiences want to see. What people, and this is kind of my thesis for this too. It's like people are watching. Like you can say what you want, whether it's hate watching, and but there's a lot of fans, and they're delivering content that people are watching. So when you don't necessarily have the moral compass, they're not boring. They're making material that that are appealing to an audience, and people are into it. And that's kind of, I like to think there's a little more going on with Chad perhaps, but ultimately that's what we tried to show. It's like he's he may be a douchebag, but he is good at producing this content that people are watching. I don't know. Kimmer, you have any?
Kemmer, 2 people fighting in a car park will get views.
I've watched that video several times. I think it takes discipline, and it takes a lot of, I think it takes a lot of work. You gotta kind of.
Does it take talent, do you think?
It helps.
What is the talent? What talent do they have? Like, what is specifically?
I don't know.
Well,
you have to kind of be devoted to whatever character you're playing. I think there's a good deal of acting involved.
Very much so.
Even if they don't realize it. But yeah, you got to kind of put on a performance and stick with it. And if you're a jerk, that's your role, and you kind of have to lean into it.
Well, that's also the great challenge of having these characters as your core ensemble, is they have to be enjoyable enough to watch an entire movie's worth, because they can't be totally grating the entire time. You just want to ignore it or shut it off.
Yeah.
So there is a balance of, they are entertaining, and they have, like, there is a reason why people follow them, and that's a fun sort of tightrope to walk. No, you disagree? All right, I'm wrong.
Guys, thank you very much for creating a wonderful movie. Very enjoyable. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you so much for coming.
Try and get that out September 1st.
Video on demand, September 1st. Please leave us a review on IMDb. It really saves us a ton.
And any actors who are here, we want to try to get a group picture with
any actors in the movie.
Any actors in the movie. Yeah. Sorry.
We love you too, but